Hello everyone, Pratibha here. Today I've come with another motivational video. Now this video is in continuation with my last video where I spoke about how to deal with negative people who are insecure and clingy and who can sap your energy and drain you out by simply being negative and pessimistic about everything in life. So today in this video I'm going to talk about negative people who are controlling or competitive and generally very impossible people, and generally be impossible to be around, that your relationship with them becomes almost completely toxic. Impossible in the sense they think it's the other person who's the problem or guilty and not them. They have simply no regard for others' opinion, come what may. But before proceeding, let me also tell you that whatever advice or suggestions I will be giving, it's totally based on the experiences in my life, on how I have dealt with people and situations. It may or may not work for you, but that shouldn't stop you from trying to observe and learn from other resources around you, say self-help books or self-help blogs, websites. There are so many of them. Or again some spiritual guides, like for example the self-help books that have helped me throughout my life are usually from Robin Sharma, Paulo Coelho, Norman Vincent Peale, Dale Carnegie, and so on. I also listen to a lot of spiritual gurus like Sister Shivani from Brahma Kumari, Sadhguru, Ravi Shankar, Gaur Gopal Das, and I must say that they have definitely helped me in my life journey to live a positive life. So let us begin. Now let us start with controlling people. So what are controlling people? Now controlling guys are often critical of others, and even though you try to do a better job, they won't get off your back. In any case, you can't prove to this critical perfectionist that you are right and they are wrong. On the other hand, the competitive kind often have the obsession about winning, and they consider any kind of relationship, conversation or activity as a need to prove that they are the best. They are quite self-conscious about their own image, and they're quite generous and nice once they have their way out. What certain things work for some people doesn't work for others depending on the personality type. So before dealing with the above two dominant traits, you have to be aware of what works and what doesn't. Don't show any kind of emotions or weakness against people who are competitive type, as they will use this against you. Make sure to think what exactly you are going to say and what is the point you are trying to achieve. Avoid using you statements, as that might make the other person defensive. Instead, use I statements to put your personal take on it, or use yourself as a case in point. If in a certain discussion they don't back down, then acknowledge their command over it and ask time for more research. And also don't let controlling guys intimidate you or get to you. If they don't agree with you on things that you're confident about, then don't argue. Whatever the situation, don't get defensive. Stay calm, detach and disassociate instead of being carried away in the heat of the moment. Crying or reacting and spitting angry words will only get these dominant people more difficult. It will only suck you into deeper toxicity, thereby triggering angrier and flighty responses. Unwittingly, you will find yourself emotionally invested in the situation that will make it even harder for you to think clearly and respond appropriately. Remember, when you're angry, it can be used against you. Hence, it will be easier for them to prove that you are the bad guy, and that is exactly what they're trying to do. Don't get emotionally charged as a reaction to their words. Instead, try to remove yourself emotionally from that situation. To be precise, don't allow yourself to get emotionally involved, but treat it with indifference. Look at the person in the eye while speaking and state your opinions with confidence. Shifting your eyes here and there will only send them a wrong message. Instead of sounding reasonable, they will only interpret you as weak, and this will be like giving away your power to them. Try to steer the conversation into something positive or change the subject completely. You can talk about some event that is coming up or some common issue or even the weather. In fact, anything that will distract both of you away from the main cause of conflict. Another strategy you can do is go ahead and agree with them, or maybe even some part of the statement. Difficult people are usually looking for a fight, and once you acknowledge and shrug it off casually, you are no longer giving into what they want. This weakens their power to take control of you or the situation. If this doesn't work and you see that the difficult person is still playing the blame game or trying to corner you into an argument, then you need to realize that this is a losing game, because they only complicate with name calling, blaming, changing the subject or other behaviors. The conversation won't be reasonable, as this kind of person cannot and is simply not ready to listen to reason. Try using humor to lighten the situation. If it still doesn't work, then use silence to end the conversation. Ignoring them will make them realize that they have lost your attention and they are no longer going to get what they want. They will figure out that they need to move on and instead find out someone else who will react to them. Also, be conscious of your body language, such as the way you move or your facial expressions, as we tend to reveal or express a lot of our emotions non-verbally. Masking your feelings with an affirmative body language will not give the other person a leeway to find chink in your armor. This you can do by avoiding confrontational behavior such as staring or using aggressive gestures like pointing or standing in front of the person in a face-to-face position. Change your stance to a more relaxed one by using mindfulness and monitor your body to move more easily. Speak slowly and softly as much as you can. Remain calm and keep your facial expression neutral. Also, when you sound calm and clear, it has a calming effect on the environment and people around you. Then also keep in mind not to take the problems with the other persons personally, but treat it like a game. Think of counter strategy ahead of time so that you are mentally well prepared ahead of time. Even though at times you will find that in spite of everything the other person can get to you, don't give up. Just make a mental note and find out alternate strategies next time. Often you will see that the behavior is predictable, and hence you will have the confidence to or be in a better position to outwit them. Or if they use other people to embarrass you or create a scene, then go ahead and ask them upfront whether they want to discuss it here. You will see that they will back off or hesitate. Then if the person is getting too much on your nerve, then take a deep breath or count to 10 and step away. Diverting yourself with another task or walking away will help to calm you down instead of allowing them to get the rise out of you just for the heck of it. Ignoring him or her will give them a message that they are aggravating you and they need to stop. Then again, there may be times when the impossible person might use an age-old tactic to shift the blame on you by citing some disagreement or a quarrel with some common relative or a friend that they are aware of, and they may say things like, You are always having trouble with everyone, or to make themselves sound better, they may say, everyone likes me. But remember, your personal interaction with others, or even theirs with others, is irrelevant in the present circumstances. Here, there is a problem with the way you two interact, and bringing in others won't alter facts. It may be just a question of compatibility, or it may be that both of you bring out the worst in each other. Hence, the blame game is pointless, because even if a person gets along with everyone else, but they may be that impossible person for you. So that doesn't make you unlikable or them more likable. Even if the argument has come to a closure in the present circumstances, and you have convinced the other person that what they have done is not right, but don't be too sure of that. You may still be faced with unpredictable emotional outburst or mood swing anywhere in the near future. So be prepared for that, because often to elicit sympathy from others, they might display this kind of erratic behavior. Because don't be surprised, this could be their coping mechanism. Hence, don't let this intimidate you, and don't let this confuse you and incite feelings of guilt in you just because they act like they are being persecuted. Of course, give them a benefit of doubt if they show some positive response, but also be alert so that they can't manipulate you with emotional blackmail or erratic behavior. Also keep in mind that when it comes to an emotional abuser, they might use tactics such as humiliation, negating, criticizing, blaming, demanding, and emotional distancing to cripple you with their words and actions. Remember, what they say or do not define you. It might be that they have their own past unresolved issues that they are projecting on you to enrage you and to simply get you mad. They are unhappy inside, or they have a grudge against the world, and this kind of emotional manipulation they use to bring the focus on them. Once they figure out that they can't get to you, they will eventually leave you alone. At the end of it all, what you can do is take this person as a learning experience that added value in your emotional growth. You will realize that once you've dealt with a person like this, you have grown in strength, tolerance, and grace, and dealing with most other people will get easier. Also, if you see the situation from a broader perspective, you realize that although this person behaved crazily, maybe this was the coping mechanism of that person, or this was the only way that person could cope. One thing you'll understand and also realize that a person's maturity is not determined by their age, intelligence, or position in life. So don't be misled by that. So keep yourself on control by focusing on the positive and not on them. Stressing about what they did will only get you trapped in a web of negativity and make you lose valuable time when you could have done something else. They don't even care about you, so why waste time on them? Instead, divert yourself with activities that add meaning and value to you, or with people who care about you. One of the spiritual gurus I follow, Sister Shivani, she often says, bless the person who has wronged you. Or in the Bible it says, love your enemy. Now these adages doesn't mean that you have to behave like a saint, but they have a lot of power in its simplicity. Of course, if you apply it, it helps you release the rage you have towards the other person and helps you detach yourself from that person quite successfully. It really releases the pain or anger you suffer in the aftermath. Because when you're angry or bear a grudge towards another person, you are actually under their control. Hence, letting go of the other person by blessing them or wishing them well or forgiving them is a great service that we can do to ourselves. Never lose faith in yourself. Although at times you will find your confidence waver because the other person made you look bad or portrayed you as the bad person amidst your relatives or friends. Focus on the people who care about you and make you feel good, because people who care about you, they will never think wrongly about you. They will come and ask you instead and try to clear things out, and absolutely they will believe in you. So don't worry about your reputation gone awry or people who make false things about you. Don't care. When these people have said bad things to you to hurt you, remember that they said all these things to make them feel better. They want to look good in other people's eyes by shifting the blame on you. Remember, other people's opinions do not define you. You are your own judge. If your conscience is clear and you behaved in grace, then you don't need validation from others. The impossible person is the one who is insecure and needs validation. Also, let this be a lesson in protecting your privacy. If in the past you have shared some things in confidence, which we human beings usually do, don't be surprised if these people have or that person has used this personal information against you. Because in life things happen, and often in a weak moment you let your guard down and tell things to people that you shouldn't, or open up to people that you shouldn't. And manipulated people do have the art to get you to open up and tell them things. This can bring real harm, because based on these facts they might fabricate stories about you that will sound real and paint you as the bad person by spoiling your reputation amongst your friends and relatives. So be careful with whom you share your personal stories, because in certain times in your life when you aren't prepared, they might come to haunt you both personally and professionally. So let this be a lesson to you to protect your privacy in future and guard your privacy better, and be more careful and cautious and wise in judging people and whom to tell your personal details and whom to not. Then another tip I want to give you, which is quite challenging, is to be the better person. You can be the better person by being reasonable and respectful. Be the opposite of the toxic person or the difficult person by rising in patience, grace, tolerance and humility. No one is perfect and no one can get it right all the time. We can only do our best. If the other person is intolerant and continues to be disrespectful and unforgiving, then withdraw in humility and grace. Remember, all this is a part of our human journey, and however much we try, there will always be good days and bad days. And again, also be kind to yourself. Don't fight it on your own if you're finding this difficult. Pour your heart to someone you know who you can trust and who can counsel you. The understanding they will show, the compassion they will show to you in your times of need will work wonders for you in coping up with the situation. They too, being an outsider, will be able to advise you and guide you better on how to handle the situation, since their emotions are not involved. They will make the blow less hard and bring a lot of mental relief. You will be able to think better and release a lot of negativity when you're around someone who understands you. It will give you more clarity on the situation and stop you from blaming yourself or seeing yourself in a poorer light. It will help you regain the confidence that the other person sucked away from you. You can also take the help of an online community or journal down your feelings to make yourself feel better. There are a lot of forums or online communities to help you out cope with different emotions, whether it might be love relationship, problems with your partner, or your problems in the office, or with your in-laws. So do check out, you will find a lot of them on social media or individual websites who are just geared towards helping the community out. Then after this, if you're still facing a problem, don't hesitate to bring a third party or a mediator. If you feel if you can't handle this person or that person is being aggressive or throwing a tantrum, don't hesitate to involve somebody else. Emotional outbursts can be tough to handle, so bringing in a person like, say, a common friend or relative who is mature in age and experience will help to sort out the problem better. Even though they may be upset that you are involving a third party, it doesn't matter, because they themselves are not mature or sensible to handle the problem. In fact, it is better to avoid talking to them altogether and ask the third party to talk to them instead, in case you're expecting outbursts that is disruptive, threatening, and damaging to your emotional well-being altogether. It happened to me once, like one of my relatives, we went along quite well, but through the years, I don't know, something happened and it was very difficult. She was impacting my life, my whole family life in some way, and it was very, I knew the confrontation will be very aggressive, full of tantrums, and not reasonable. So I took the help of some common relatives whom I relied on, but she was not happy with this, and it was hysterical, and all these hate messages came on WhatsApp, and all kinds of blaming and naming me with all kinds of names. It was horrible. It was so much of negativity. It gave me such a difficult time. There were a lot of ugly messages on WhatsApp and very hysterical hate messages and blame messages, blaming, name calling. It was terrible. It gave me a very dark time. It was a very dark time. It gave me a terrible negativity. It drained my energy, sucked me out of energy. I had a very difficult time. Of course, as I told you, I had people around me like my good friend, childhood friend, and my sister-in-law. So they gave me a lot of support, which helped me cope. So, but it was when you see that the person is not sensible or not mature enough, and they might attack you through their words and actions, use hate words or blame game or say stuff that we won't say, a normal person won't say, then it is perfectly fine to involve elders or people whom you can talk to, and people you can talk to sort it out. But eventually, if the situation is too negative, it is better to part ways with the person and move on, because trying to mend the situation or adjust to the situation will only be unhealthy in the long run. Even for some reason they try to convince you, it's better to be cautious and not go back. Severing ties completely with that person can be liberating and free you completely from a web of negativity and unhappiness. So with this, we come to the end of this video. Hope my tips help you and bring you some clarity on this issue. So if you have any valuable tips or suggestions of your own, don't hesitate to comment. I would love to hear them. And stay tuned for more videos of this kind. Bye-bye.